Hi, good evening. Welcome all to WealthMills Securities Weekly Market Wrap. It's a joy to interact with you all through various modes. This week, just to analyze about stock markets in India, markets have been very volatile after the budget this week, and uh, there is a saga of uh, news has been coming that is related to the macro environment of Indian markets. The first news is IIP data, that is Index of Industrial Production, which indicates the past uh, industrial production data. That number is down, and also the GDP data, as you all aware, it's also came down, and inflation is on high. If you are in India, uh, you know the onion prices how they were skyrocketed in India. Just to give a brief example, in India we paid around $3 for a kilogram of onions in India. That's such a high inflation we witnessed in India. Of course, they have moderated. They came down $3 from $3 straight to now there are a few cents, that is 20 rupees per kg in Mumbai. So what we by and large we want to see, we are going to see is a moderation of uh, inflation data, which gives good environment for the Indian markets uh, in the days to come. Coming here, one parameter that is driving the market is uh, if you see the Nifty data. Okay, Nifty is currently at holding at around 12,000 levels. It is 12,000 levels are acting as a strong support levels for the stock markets in the near term. Until unless there is no any negative impact is coming, we 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 presume that 12,000 level of Nifty will act as a strong support level for the stock markets. And and if we analyze the broader data of the market, uh, what we expect is in the days to come, there will be a significant activity in the broader market of the stock markets. Normally, if we observe the market, people tend to say when Indian market goes up, people tend to say the markets are up, that is Sensex is up, Nifty is up. It is just the cream of the market. Sensex is 30 stocks, Nifty is 50 stocks. Couple of days back, that is just 2 days back, when the Hindustan Unilever in India, when it's up by 2%, stock market's up nearly, Sensex is up nearly 400 points. So just push a few stocks, a few large cap stocks can drive these Sensex as well as Nifty. Whereas coming to the broader market, that is the top 500 companies of the entire market. This is where the economic activity, this is where major stock market activity we are going to expect in the days to come. The top 500 companies. This is where the strong value creation, wealth creation can happen in these top 500 companies. We want to divide these top 500 companies for our analysis into four categories. So the first category what we are going to divide is among these top 500 companies. The first category what we call is as the global stocks. These are the stocks generally depends upon the global movements, global geopolitical and macroeconomic data of the global environment. Let us say, for example, a metal stock which is completely determined by the flows of the steel prices across the globe. For example, you all aware China is shut from past 10 days. So we don't know how many days it's going to shut, but the it's going to impact the economic environment in China. So the steel and metal stocks are going to impacted because of the global environment, and also oil refinery companies in India, and also pharma stocks. These are the global stocks that are basically linked to outside India activities. Steel prices in India are purely determined. The demand is mainly depends upon the at a global scale. So one is the set of data, set of stocks we consider them as a global stocks. The second stocks what we consider them as a into the second category is macro stocks. These macro stocks are purely depends upon the India's growth story and India's economic data, how it's going to drive the GDP data of India, and also how the industrial data that's performing in India. These are the factors that determines the stocks categorized in this category, that is macro data. These stocks are normally, typically, you can say a public sector banks, where if India does well, these public sector banks are going to do well. So, and major POCs in India which have the focus towards Indian growth market. So this is the second category. And third category, if I have to tell, this is what we name it as penetration stocks. These are the stocks we can say a high beta kind of stocks, and stocks which are going to take the advantage in India's economic activity, and they're going to take a greater advantage of India's economic activity. For example, if I have to tell, these stocks can grow much faster than the India's economic growth story. If GDP can rise at, for example, at 5-6 level, these stocks can outperform when compared uh, to the economy and also the broader market performance as a whole. You can say these stocks can be rated as a high beta kind of stocks. For example, to give an message on these kind of sectors of stocks, if you say financials as a category, uh, insurance stocks, if the financials are doing well, insurance stocks can do in a better way when compared to the financial stocks. For example, NBFC stocks, if banks are doing well, the NBFC stocks can give a high beta return when compared to the bank stocks. And also, for example, in white goods, you can say sales of air conditioning companies can go up if the economy does well. Uh, but the earnings of these companies on a much faster pace, on a much higher pace. And also, while coming to the fourth category and the final category, how uh, categorized as categorized as a we call them as a market share category. These are the stocks uh, which can take the advantage of the tough times in the economy and try to capture the uh, market share of the sectors which they operate in their respective sectors. For example, private sector banks, okay, when there is a downtrend, uh, they try to take the market share uh, uh, of the industry of the financials from the public sector banks. So there are certain companies who can take the advantage in the downtrend in the market, and they try to become brand leaders or uh, market leaders of that environment. So altogether in this BSC 500 top companies, we categorized them as four categories: global, macro, penetration, and market share categories. So going ahead, we are going to see much of the activities based on these four different parameters in the broader indices of the market. Uh, we are just analyzing, we started analyzing what are the companies that are going to get benefited given the kind of these top 500 companies are concerned. And I just want to leave a thought to our investors, how uh, the current events that are influencing on the stock prices. I just want to bring this, not a stock recommendations. Some of our investors have invested in this company, but if you want to take a position, just call our research team or call me. Okay, we will tell you whether this is the right time to enter this particular stock or not. Long back, probably nearly 24 months back, there are some investment recommendations on this particular company. It is a very small cap company. They are into generic side of the uh, industry. It's a pharma company which caters to the segment of uh, animals medicines. The company name is Lasa Super Generics. Uh, you all know after 2018, mid and small cap stocks came down drastically, especially the small cap and micro stocks came down drastically. And this Lassa Generics from an all-time high of 150, uh, this has been keep on coming down because of the different negative news in this particular uh, stock, and this stock all of a sudden touched a low of 9 rupees. There was unfortunately there is a fire accident in this company. It created damage for their production. There were slew of bad news that crept into this particular company. So and in the short term, always what determines the price of any stock is very simple. That is the demand and supply for that particular stock. Forget for a while the strong fundamentals of the company, that is management, the business line, their balance sheet. But if you sit on a trading terminal, what drives a stock price is how much price the buyers want to pay for that particular stock and what price the seller want to sell a stock, whether he want to sell at a higher price or he want to sell at a lower price and go out of this stock. So these are the two forces that drives every individual stock price on a daily basis, irrespective of the fundamentals. But the underlying factors are the fundamentals. But ultimately, it depends upon when we say a stock has been keep on going up means there are investors or there are the people on buying side. They are keep on accumulating. They keep on buying the stock, the demand for that particular stock, and the buyers want to pay a high price to buy this particular stock. That's why the stock price has been going up. And for these small cap companies or micro cap companies, last uh, 18 months virtually there were no buyers, there was no demand. There are a lot of good companies are available at a throwaway prices, fabulous prices. And this Lassa generic, after touching a low of 9 rupees, uh, and if you ask none of the investors, when the stock touches 9 rupees, uh, they don't look into the stock and they tend to ignore that particular stock and they don't get interest. If you tell anyone to buy that stock also, they don't, not even show the interest. From 9 rupees, this stock in last 6 months on a consistent basis, slowly with a good decent volumes, uh, it became 43 as on date. So it given a 5 times return to those people who invested. But the point I'm trying to tell you is when you have such a stock in your portfolio and if the fundamentals are in line, these are the stocks that are going to bounce back at some point of time. See, always economic environment are are the growth rates cannot be consistent in a single way. There will be headwinds, there will be geopolitical issues, and there will be environment which will impact uh, the cycle of the growth cycle of any company. If the company is good, if the management is good, even though it is a tough time, they might face challenging environment in the shorter term, but in the longer term they will bounce back. This is where the people call it as the multi-baggers that will emerge. Multi-baggers will not come from somewhere, some point of time. The stocks which got depressed in terms of the valuations, once the economic cycle turns positive, these stocks are uh, going to become uh, uh, a much bigger uh, prices. And these are the stocks called typical multi-baggers in the portfolios. So whenever a stock which you are holding comes down, okay, just try to understand, just give a call to us or just do your own analysis. Okay, what's happening in this company, why the stock has been the price came down. The main reason is it might be a technical environment. Okay, one big investor want to exit, and if he dumps the stock in the market, the price will come down. It is as simple as that. So if because of that reason, if the stock price came down, then that's where the opportunity comes to you to create wealth. So check it out. If you have any such stock in your portfolio, just give a call to us. We uh, we we um, we analyze such companies and we'll help you to create and buy those stocks at a much cheaper valuations. This is not a stock recommendation since I have been speaking in the public domain. Okay, if you have such a stock, just give a call to us. We'll help you to take a call on this particular stock. Please remember, when a good quality, good management stock comes down because of the issues in the economic environment, if you are holding such stock in your portfolio, try to buy at a lower levels. As we are getting many calls from many investors about a stock specific query like S Bank. Uh, just keep in mind, it's not a stock recommendation. I just want to emphasize the issues that are happening in S Bank at present. Uh, Last week, S Bank have conducted their extraordinary general body meeting, and they proposed to raise their authorized capital to 1200 crores capital. At present, for S Bank, they need to raise $2 billion of funds uh, to lead the bank in the days to come. This is utmost essential for the bank, and if the bank is not going to raise $2 billion in the near future, it's going to have a very big impact on the survival of this bank. So it is a very high risk trade. The stock can swing either ways. Uh, so the investors who have a high, or traders who have a very high risk appetite only, uh, we advise them to enter into these kind of propositions. If the management could able to rise, how quickly they rise the $2 billion in the days to come. So it all depends upon the stock price. It can swing either downside, or it can swing on an upside. So this is the stock specific thought. I just want to leave it with you. Uh, I wish you all, our investors across the globe, a very pleasant weekend. God bless you all. Thank you.